But as soon as you ask me about the incredibly environmentally inefficient, destructive, animal-killing, acidic-producing batteries, you're a strong man. You're out of time. Thanks for being here.
You can't get rid of batteries with it.
I recognize you from earlier, right?
Yeah. I kind of want to continue
Sure.
the conversation about climate change. First of all, thanks for coming to UCSB. And I was just wondering, given that you believe human beings are exacerbating climate change, shouldn't you agree that we ought to transition away from fossil fuels?
Well, no, I don't agree with that. My contention is I don't know. I do believe global temperatures are rising. I'm not willing to say definitively it's anthropogenic, meaning it's human activity. But if you connect the two, I asked the question I asked earlier, how much? Are there any other contributing factors to rising global temperatures other than human activity? If so, what are they, and to what degree do they factor into rising global temperatures? But sure, you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I was wondering, how can you not know whether climate change is happening when a recent survey of 88,125 climate-related studies done by Institute of Physics cites that more than 99.9% of peer-reviewed scientific papers agree that climate change is caused by human activities?
How much? So how much of the global temperature rising is because of human activity? No. What percentage? Is it 70%, 80%, 85%, 5%, 1%? Because that's not what the study said. They're saying that human activity is contributing to part of the increase. What part? They don't know. That's debated.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
So like there's actually a statistics or a study done that suggests that climate related disasters are 8 times more likely than in 1980s.
Well, hold on.
I love these type of questions because I also learn a lot. I never studied the climate. My main field of study was electronics, semiconductors, photons, electrons, circuits. I did that type of stuff. So I'm not a big genius about climate change or any of that. What I do know is that Charlie Kirk is more of a conservative and the student is probably liberal, considering that he wants to debate Charlie Kirk. But I do have one question when it comes to climate change. Is our carbon emissions higher today? Because I think that's the biggest thing with climate change. Greenhouse gases and carbon emissions and stuff like that. Is it higher today? Or was it higher when the dinosaurs were around? And the reason I ask that is because if we are producing more carbon than the dinosaurs, or we're producing more deadly gases than the dinosaurs, or that Earth has ever experienced in history, then that's an issue. But if we're not, does that mean that the Earth can just manually adjust? That's a real question because I don't know. But I always find these debates a little like troubling, or this climate debate a little troubling because in the 80s they were worried about global cooling, and now it's global warming. Or is it global warming? Is it still global cooling? Or is it global warming and global cooling, and we just switch between the two? I don't know. I don't know a lot about climate change, but I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get back into it.
In a second, you know that we have less people dying because of quote-unquote climate-related disasters thanks to fossil fuels. We have less people dying because of extreme exposure to cold, hurricanes, because of the advancements we have thanks to fossil fuels. This idea, it's very interesting in modern society. We take for granted the idea of having widespread shelter, heating, or air conditioning in extreme climates thanks to hydrocarbons, we take for granted. That used to be a leading cause of death of human beings up until 1850s. Now, if I posit your contention, climate-related catastrophes, even though, according to peer-reviewed studies, that climate-related catastrophe death is actually at all-time low, the question is then for you, which is, what would you get rid of, when, and what would the cost of that be? That is the question, so please answer that.
Well, I was just wondering, you didn't really answer my question, but I was, obviously I can't give you exact percentage of numbers, but I do think that we ought to transition away from fossil fuels, right? I'm not against growth or development. I obviously agree with you that, the Industrial Revolution, economic growth is good. It's lifting people out of poverty. That's obviously good, right? But in developed countries today, where we have the ability to not damage our economy, but also benefit the environment, shouldn't we do that?
Okay, so give me an example. What specifically would you ban? You're king for a day. What would you ban? Would you ban liquid natural gas? Would you ban nuclear? Would you ban fracking? Would you ban, what kind of hydrocarbons would you ban? Give me the examples, and you're king for a day. What would you do?
Well, see, I wouldn't straight up ban something, right? So I'm not advocating for just like fossil fuels, we end fossil fuels like
Okay,
immediately.
That's a
right?
mature answer. Good for you. No, I mean that. That's because the radicals don't always say that. Please continue.
Right. So I'll argue for like market-based solutions, a transition away. Like for example, I think in 2020, the government funded 5.9 trillion dollars to fossil fuel companies. I would say that instead of investing this money, 5.9 trillion dollars to fossil fuel companies,
That doesn't sound right. But you might be in tax credits, maybe, or tax breaks. That doesn't sound right.
subsidies.
No, that's 5.9 billion, probably not trillion. There's no way.
It's trillion.
Yeah, well, the federal budget was 3.8 trillion, so there's no way we spent more than our federal budget.
No.
But I'm going to help you out. It's probably billion. Did you say trillion or billion?
It's trillion. It's done by the International Monetary Fund, and probably is not.
It's not possible. I mean, I'm sorry to.
I'm not saying just in the United States.
Oh, okay, worldwide. All right, then that might be conceivable.
Right.
Sure.
So I mean, yeah. But anyways, so I would say instead of subsidizing these fossil fuels companies, I would say that take these subsidies to renewables and other forms of cleaner energy that would be beneficial to the environment while still pertaining economic
Fair enough.
growth.
I actually do like this student because one thing that he's doing that I don't see a lot of is he's actually providing real solutions. Whether or not I agree or disagree with the solutions, at least he's y'all would be so surprised with how many videos I've seen of people just being straight up delusional. Like just straight up delusional with no solutions. They don't even know what they're supporting. They just know that they hate what you're supporting. But at least he has some idea of a solution. Some idea. I need to give him a round of applause for that. Whether or not he's right or wrong, he knows something. Just something. I appreciate it because it shows that he's actually serious about this topic. And his idea is plausible. Like, yeah, you could probably donate that money or subsidize that money to renewable energy. It's possible. Whether or not I agree, I mean, it's doable. But let's continue.
Last question. So, where do we get the cobalt to make the batteries, and what do we do with them? No, I'm asking. Where do you recommend we get the cobalt to make the batteries?
Wait, can I answer? So, like, your argument is about this mining argument, right? Like,
no, I'm asking a question, dude. Like, where do we get it from? Yeah. So then, how about this? How and where should we dispose of the incredibly acidic, sometimes radioactive batteries that electric vehicles use? Where should we dispose of them?
But that argument, you see, it's a straw man because you're
Answer the question.
No, I am answering question. I am literally answering your questions, right? So you're arguing about this renewable energies and their batteries and how they cause environmental harm, right?
I've asked a question. I'm not making an argument. What should we do with the batteries once we use them?
I'm saying that's a straw man because you can't.
Straw man question. That's a first. I've never been accused of a straw man question.
Because you have an underlying premise in your question that renewable energies exist in a vacuum, but you can't do that. That's not comparative analysis. You have to compare renewables with fossil fuels, with fracking and stuff.
Right. All right, pal. How about this? You can't answer the question because deep down you know that cobalt-powered batteries are worse for the environment than liquid and natural gas and nuclear power. So you come up on here to try to virtue signal, I love the environment, but as soon as you ask me about the incredibly environmentally inefficient, destructive, animal-killing, acidic-producing batteries, you're a strong man. You're out of time. Thanks for being here.
Here's what I'll say. There's nothing you could do. Batteries, you can't get rid of batteries really. They bury the batteries. They bury the stuff. They bury these things. And plus you kind of you need fossil fuels to create batteries. That's the first thing. Another thing is he wants to replace non-renewable energy with renewable energy. The thing is where we are on Earth is not enough non-renewable energy. I mean, not enough renewable energy to replace the non-renewable energy. It's not enough. It's not strong enough. There's hydropower. We don't have enough. There's geographic constraints that we have on Earth. So it's just, all I'm saying is it's currently not possible. That's it. What the student is implying is that he wants to take the money given to fossil fuels to renewable energy sources for investments. The problem with that is that's for the future. That's for tens or hundreds of years down the line. But what if they need that money today? What if we need that money today for our energy that we're using right now? So what he wants to do is take the energy that we're using right now and say, we're going to invest this money in the future for something that might not even work, because there are geographic constraints when it comes to renewable energy. That's just true. You have to build physical windmills. You have to go for hydropower. You have to go to actual bodies of water. And who owns these bodies of water? All I'm saying is it's more complicated and more dangerous than he thinks it is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name is LFR Jojo, and I'll see you on the next one.